voted for. Turns out he didn't vote. So then I started scolding him for that, right? I said, you failed your mother, you failed your sisters, you failed your friends, every girlfriend you've ever had. You failed the women of this country. He also, by the way, was an African-American man. You're right. I moved to a different state. I was lazy and selfish. I didn't put in the effort to re-register in the new place.
Sitting in silence and reflecting on that for quite a few minutes. And this really ties back into my theory, my fun little theory that Molly Rutter was put on this earth to terrorize and traumatize men. And that's if this stuff is actually happening. You know, so it's like either she's lying or greatest performance artist / man traumatizer we have ever seen.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. Today's video is going to be on a creator that I have never talked about on my channel before, but I have had so many internal thoughts about, like, ever since she came across my TikTok For You page that, like, I need to get out there. And if there's one reason I have this channel, it's to yap about my internal thoughts about niche internet things and or people. So today we're going to be talking about Molly Rutter, who I think is arguably one of TikTok's more unhinged dating content creators. And I have seen people compare her to like Foodie Beauty, and a lot of the people who talk about her on TikTok, kind of like the way I talk about people on YouTube, are also in Goral World, so there may be some overlap there. I don't know, but I just have had a lot of thoughts and feelings, and I've been seeing more people actually talk about her on YouTube now recently. First off, speaking of creators on TikTok, I do want to shout out Alexis for that opening clip. I will have her TikTok link down below because she covers Molly Rutter really well as well. So yeah, but regardless of, I don't know, I've just never covered someone who's not in fat activism like at all on my channel, I don't think. And I still have so many thoughts and so many feelings. So just buckle up and buckle in and let's get into it. But before we get into today's video, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Lumi. Now, Lumi deodorant is a whole body deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. We are talking boobs, belly buttons, butts, nether regions, feet, and more. Lumi is skin safe, baking soda free, cruelty free and vegan, pH optimized to be able to use anywhere on your body. It's also paraben free. When I say you can use it anywhere on your body, I mean it, because Lumi was invented by an OBGYN named Shannon Klingman. Lumi is clinically proven to block odor all day and continue controlling odor for up to 72 hours. I don't know what it is, but I've always had a weird fear of like smelling bad, and so needless to say, Lumi's products have really helped curb that fear for me. They sent me all kinds of goodies to talk to you about this month and to try out for myself, including the toasted coconut deodorant stick, the new deodorant spray, and acidified bar soap, both in the scent lavender sage, the acidified body wash in clean tangerine, a travel size cream deodorant in minted cucumber, and a pack of acidified deodorant wipes in cool cucumber. I love all of Lumi's scents because they keep me smelling cute and fresh all day long, even after a heavy commute day for me, which is saying something. For a limited time, Lumi has a variety of holiday bundles available on their website, so it's a perfect time to stock up on Lumi products if you are an existing customer, or try a whole bunch of them if you are a new customer. But even though I'm using transit, I still have to walk quite a bit, but I still smell great when I reach my destination, and even better yet, at the end of the day when I get home after doing everything. The travel size and wipes are also great to keep in my gym bag because, like I said, I transit everywhere, so oftentimes after the gym, I will go to the store, and I don't want to blow anybody away who's also in the aisle with me after being in the gym. I can't wait for you all to try Lumi, and to make it a little bit better, they are also running a deal on all of the holiday bundles that I talked about earlier. Lumi's holiday bundles are currently up to 40% off, which is a great deal for new and returning customers. And just for my viewers, they're offering an additional $5 off, plus free US shipping on orders over $30 when you order using the link down below in my description, and use my code MEGANA, that's MEGANA, at checkout. Thank you so much to Lumi for sponsoring sponsoring today's video. And as always, thank you so much to you guys for continuing to interact with my content so that brands like Lumi want to keep working with me. It truly does more for me than I'll ever be able to articulate here, but yeah. All right, let's just get back into the nonsense. So if you don't know who Molly Rutter is, she is a 32, 33-year-old dating content creator on TikTok. She lived in Turkey for a time and documented some of her life there. That wound up turning into dating content, but I think the majority of the content that's gotten her where she is now has been when she's been back from Turkey living in Buffalo, New York. Her content still shifts from like vlogging and fashion and whatever, and like other non-dating things, but primarily her dating content is what has gotten her by far the most attention on TikTok. Before becoming a full-time content creator, she was also a third grade teacher. I'm not sure what subjects she taught, but I do know that she was a teacher. Another thing of note that will come into play in a bit with Molly is that she has 2 dogs and she takes them everywhere with her, okay? They are very cute, but she takes them everywhere. I think a lot of people on the outside don't understand why people on TikTok and outside of TikTok are so fascinated with her. But I think for a lot of people, including myself, like dating content is really interesting to just watch as it is, regardless of who's making it, because dating is such a like vulnerable thing, and it's also kind of just weird, right? I think going on dates and dating your entire brand makes it even weirder, and also like just is fascinating for people to watch. But I do think, especially for women, when it comes to dating content, there is some healing in commiserating with another woman on the internet, showing her trials and tribulations while trying to find a partner. But I think for Molly's sake, the internet's general consensus with her is like, girl, get a journal, and also, girl, please go to therapy. A lot of Molly's content has also been dubbed rage bait, and I honestly don't think she is. I think she is just truly like very unaware of herself and how she may be hurting herself when dating. A lot of people also question if the dates she goes on are real or if she's just making them up for content now that she's doing it full time, which I think is a very valid criticism. And she has had a lot of notable non-dating and dating related controversies through her time being a content creator on TikTok, which I think is why more people are starting to talk about her on other platforms that aren't TikTok. So I figured I'd throw my 2 cents in there as well. Before we get into the notable like non-dating controversies surrounding Molly, I want to talk about some of the questionable dates and like partners that she's documented on her channel, just so you can get a sense of where everyone is coming from, and also just get a sense of Molly as a creator as a whole. I think the first date that made people like aware of who Molly was and made people like question her and what she was doing on her platform was her date with quote tax guy earlier this year.
I think I have a date tomorrow, my first date in Buffalo. Homeboy is gonna help me do my taxes. We're gonna get some beer. Okay, sounds fun.
And in this TikTok with surrounding tax guy, Molly documents her day trying to set up a date with a 23-year-old man when she is a 32-year-old woman, okay? And listen, I have gone on some dates where the age gap is similar, and I don't think there's anything weird with it if you get along. I'm also a lot and have been told time and time again that I am, quote, mature for my age, and that's mostly due to like trauma. So that also helps me with dating older people, I feel like. But as we get further into the TikTok, you'll see why the age gap is funny, because when she thinks she's being ghosted the first time, she talks about how she, quote, hates dating in this generation.
And he ghosted. The last time we texted was 3 p.m. Plan was to meet up at 5 or 6 p.m. when I was done with my nap. So we texted at 3 when I woke up from my nap, and then I texted him again at 4:45 saying I was getting in the shower, you ready? And he hasn't answered me. And it's now like 5:30, so obviously we're not going on this dates. This would have been my first date, being back in the States, and my first date in a while, actually. I don't think I've been on a date since like November. Genuinely excited about this date. He looked cute. We had good conversation. I hate dating in this generation.
And people were like, you're not even dating in your generation. And like, don't be surprised when a 23-year-old man starts acting like a 23-year-old man, right? She also just keeps calling him homeboy throughout the whole thing, which is inherently just very cringy to me personally, but that's whatever.
Plot twist, homeboy just fell asleep. So now, while I was waiting for him, I made other plans to meet up with Morgan and bring my dogs to a dog-friendly bar. He's still gonna meet me there. I can't keep up with this stuff.
Age gap aside, the fact that he was going to do her taxes on the first date, okay?
Let's go, boys. I'm excited to bring my dogs on this date. I'm happy it's working out. Originally, he was gonna help me do my taxes. He's a finance bro, but if this works out with him, maybe he can help me out with my finances. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Wish us luck.
So first of all, having someone do your taxes who's so much younger than you, I don't care how much, like, that's weird to me. I don't know. I want someone older than me doing my taxes. Secondly, doing something that requires your whole social security number on a first date. Girl. Anyway, anyways. But very long story short, because this TikTok is 9 minutes long, I'll put in clips where relevant. Molly gets ghosted by the 23-year-old while she's out waiting for him.
So he said he would be here in 3 minutes, and it's been like an hour? I tried to call him and it went straight to voicemail, so he's probably dead, right? Honestly, just what a terrible evening. I can't believe people. It would take me more mental energy to ghost someone to that elaborate of an extent, minutes before we're supposed to see each other. That would take more out of me than just saying, hey, sorry, I'm not feeling it anymore tonight, I'm just gonna stay in. How hard is it to send that kind of text? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And I think besides the age difference and the taxes, right, at this point when we find out that she was ghosted and stood up, basically, we're on her side, that saying that, like, the way in which she was stood up was, like, not cool. Like, we're all on her side for that. But then when she comes back home and does a little debrief, she starts giving us more details on things that happened before the date via text, and it's kind of our first, like, oh. First off, she talks about how he responded to her by saying, like, okay, love, or something like that. And she took it and was like, we are not at that point in dating for you to be calling me love. That is not okay. As if that's, like, not just a pet name that people use.
Walk there. Him and I texted. He's like, when do you think you'll get there? And I was like, my ETA says 12 minutes later. And then he goes, okay, love. And I go, love? I was like, a bit too soon for that. And he's like, it's just a nickname. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm aware of that, but I prefer those kind of nicknames to be after I know someone better. Dude, we never even met in person yet, and you're already calling me love? You don't even know my last name yet, but you can call me love? I'm the only one that thinks that that's really weird. And so then I said that, and I was like, sorry, I know people have different opinions about that kind of stuff. And then he goes, my apologies. Well, that was a stupid conversation.
I don't know. If a man called me love, I wouldn't be weirded out by it. I think I'd have to, like, suss out the rest of the vibes surrounding it, but, like, that's not weird to me just on its own. And then also she takes him very obviously giving her a compliment, just saying she looks good and everything, and, like, he doesn't. He takes it as him saying that, like, he has low self-esteem and is like, the self-deprecating shit has to go.
Also, as we were getting ready, he texted me, he's like, I don't know what to wear. And I was like, yeah, me neither. Honestly, I think I'm gonna dress pretty casual. He's like, well, the difference is between me and you that you would look good in that you would look stunning in anything. And mind you, that is like the 4th time probably that he's been self-deprecating about his own appearance. He mentioned to me that even the previous night that he was nervous to meet me because he was afraid that I wouldn't like how he looked in person. Dude, if you're gonna hang with me, the self-deprecation's gotta go. I find that very unattractive. If you're very regularly in just one day of texting me talking about how you don't find yourself attractive, how is someone else supposed to like you if you don't even like yourself?
And we're like, anybody who watched this was like, bestie, he was just trying to compliment you. But, like, all right. And also, she doesn't like when he keeps calling her yes, or saying yes ma'am, calling her ma'am, whatever.
Oh, something he also frequently said in texting that I didn't like was yes ma'am. At first, I kind of liked it, but then the more he used it, the less I liked it. For example, when I said, if you're gonna hang with me, the self-deprecation's gotta go. And he goes, yes ma'am. Ooh, ew. I don't like that. And he used this emoji too. I'm sensing some passive aggression there.
And to me, I think that was also just like a weird age thing, personally. I think another thing that this kind of brings up at the end when she's like walking home from the date, she says something like, what a terrible evening, when she wound up just spending the rest of the evening with her friend and her dogs, like her girlfriend and her dogs. And I think this kind of opened up the conversation of maybe the fact that like she needs to work on decentering men from her life and decentering dating from her life. We'll go back to that a lot in a little bit, but this is just kind of like the first example that we kind of see that she might have issues with that. The end of the TikTok with Tax Guy is her crying about her dogs and how cute they are, but also how things like this make her miss her mom, who passed 7 years prior. So when she was like in her early 20s. And this is not something I can empathize with at all. In fact, like losing a parent for me is one of my biggest fears, even though I know it's going to happen. And I'm sure that losing a parent so early in your life and in such a formative time in your life as your early 20s would really affect the way that you view relationships and dating and all of that. And so I just wanted to put that in here as well. But after all the backlash she received from this date, mainly regarding the taxes and the age gap, she came back a little while later and met a man that she calls Green Flags Guy.
Oh my god, this is going really well. He's a social worker. He literally has a Syrian refugee living with him right now. And he also is going through an existential crisis because his job, like he's on a leave at his job right now, so all the hardships he's going through, like, no, this guy's really cool. Oh my god. Amazing vibes, I'm having the best time. We're going to a second location. Okay, so let's recap this date. Green flags galore, just full of green flags.
The Green Flags Guy saga starts with her going on a date with a guy and really hitting it off with him, which turns into her going on a few more dates with him. And she mentions that he watches her TikToks and he likes her content.
Also, he watched a ton of my TikToks and likes them. He genuinely likes my content. He says he likes my personality. He thinks I'm funny. He thinks I'm inspiring. I have definitely dated guys who do not like the fact that I publicly post online. And I know for certain that there are guys who did not go on a second date with me because I post on TikTok like this, which I completely understand. This is not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone will want to date someone who publicly posts online like this, especially someone who posts publicly about their dating life. But he was not afraid of it at all. He was not insecure about it. We talked about my videos and I even opened up to him about all the videos that have received so much hate online, and he was totally on my team. The brightest green flags all around. It was a lovely first date. I know he's probably watching this, so you better ask me out on a second date.
Which, as a content creator myself, I have had like people that I have met on dating apps and stuff like watch my content before we've gone on dates with each other, and I'm like, it's there, cool, whatever, but I'm always just like, back, do not perceive me. It's always such a weird feeling when people tell me that they watched my content before going on a date with me. The second date with Green Flags Guy is her going to some kind of festival with him and his friends, and I immediately noticed how much she filmed of this date, and which we will see with future guys.
I'm meeting the guy from the other night now, a bit later than expected, but it's okay. I'm excited to see him. These are my babies! Hi!
I think this is also where Molly's concept of time is a big deal to her and how she perceives the men that she's going on dates with.
A little recap of the Porch Fest meetup with the guy. So it was really fun. We met up and he had a lot of friends with him. He also had one of the refugees that's staying with him. He's a middle school student and he was really cool. He knew some Turkish, we spoke Turkish together. That was really cute. And once again, it was just really nice to see him around his friends. I really liked his friends. I thought they were easy to get along with and seemed like cool people. It was brief. Like, I didn't see him for very long, just a few hours, but...
On the third date, she also films like a pretty considerable amount of it.
Third date with the Green Flags Guy, and it was cute. We went and got breakfast together, but I didn't film a whole lot on that day. So let me just show you a little bit of what I did record, and then I'll give you a recap after. Look, we're welcome here. It's you. That's nice. Wow. They're good with girls who talk in a little high voice like me. Of course they can. Look, I've never been here before.
Never been here, so lives around the neighborhood.
Hey, so cute.
That's it?
Which again, to me, just feels odd. Like, I don't care if dating is my content. I don't think I would film the actual date. Like, I think I would just like do debriefs and like little catch-ups here and there. Like, I don't think I'd film the actual date, but that's just me. But after the third date, she comes on saying how Green Flags Guy now has like a little bit of an issue with her posting the dating videos and maybe didn't realize like the reach in which her content had.
Actually, I think in our case, especially with me posting the dating videos, he felt some type of way about it. Even though I did get his initial consent, there was some miscommunication there, and I think Basically, I think he got spooked by the amount of views the video got and stuff, which is totally valid. And him and I talked it out.
But she says that they're probably going to go slow and form a friendship first, but she clarifies that she still feels a flirty feeling or whatever. I've done this with people, and like sometimes like where you kind of pull back and you're like, whoa. And sometimes it does turn into something more, but sometimes you're also just friends, and like that's chill too for me personally, which we'll talk about in a second. Because in her third and final update with Green Flags guy, she says that they are officially just friends now, and that she's hanging out with his mutual friends and how he's okay with all of this. More notably, in this final update, she says that he asked her to stop talking about him in her content, but she goes on to talk about him a little bit more in this update, and then continues to talk about him in people questioning like if he's actually okay with her being friends with his friends or whatever.
All right, so update about the Green Flags guy. We are officially friend zoned. He has also asked me to not talk about him anymore on my TikTok, so I won't do that out of respect for him. And he explained to me all the reasons why he wants to just be friends, and ultimately I really respect all of those reasons, and I'm fine with it. Silver lining, I met a lot of his friends, and I went out with some of them last weekend. Not even with him. He ended up meeting us out later in the night, but my plan was just to meet up with his friends, and I had a great time. They're cool people. So I'm fine with us just being friends, and that's that. You know who it's not weird to, though? Him. And you know who it's also not weird to? Me. And you know who else it's not weird to? His friends. He invited me out multiple times with him and his friends. His friends were really nice. We clicked. His friends asked me for my phone number. His friends invited me out. And when the guy heard that I was going out with his friends, he was delighted. I'm a people person. Dating is not just about finding a partner. It's also about meeting good human beings and building connections. It's not that big of a deal, you know?
I'm like, girl, this dude who you barely know asked you to stop talking about him on your very public platform. So just like maybe take the L on some of these points and just don't mention him. You know? I don't know. That's just me. But a little bit after Green Flags guy, we now move on to dangly earrings. On their first date, she films a lot of it, as well as some of her like initial thoughts on him while he's like off somewhere else.
What?
Playing got too rough. Too rough. Tell him about.
He's like, hey, you get over here.
That's so cute. That's Bo's excited, or Bo's excited with this. They're really riled up. No, what's funny is they're not usually like this. Really cute, really funny.
Nice. 4, 3, 2.
This guy's great. Like, really good sense of style. He's a freaking Boy Scout. He's a musician. So is a TikTok. Oh my god, I should ask him if he's willing to like be public about the date. That would be fun.
No Tom.
Yeah.
After the date, we get like a classic debrief, and she says that she doesn't want to share certain things about him, but then goes on to share like things that I personally would deem too personal for the internet for someone you don't even know.
Alright, so here's a recap of the date. There were a lot of good things, and then some things that I'm not so sure about. Basically, I feel like my life experiences get in my way sometimes of being open-minded about people. For example, very early in the conversation, we were talking about how his parents are still together, and his siblings, and how they grew up middle class, how he never finished college, so he has no student loan debt, and I just remember thinking so bitter and jealous about all those things, and I was like, am I going to be able to relate to this guy? Because I'm just so mad that that's not at all what my experience was. But I could recognize that this feeling I'm having is more about me and not so much a criticism of him. Both bond over music, and he's like a theater boy, likes to sing. I'm not gonna tell you his job because it's way too specific. I've literally never met someone with this job before, and it's a really cool job. But if I say his job, it'll be way too easy to identify him. So I'll just say he's a designer of some sort.
In the next dangly earrings update, she says that they're gonna go, he planned like kind of a 2-activity date for them, and it was gonna be outside, like an outdoorsy kind of thing. And we also find out in this one that dangly earrings is 24 years old.
He mentioned 2 date ideas that he wanted to take me on. The first one is for this outdoor activity that I'm not going to specify what it is because it's pretty niche and might reveal his identity, but it's one of his hobbies that he likes to do, and he invited me to come to it with my dogs, but he said it's supposed to rain that day. I don't know if you want to be out in the rain, but I personally love being in a good storm, and I'm probably just going to bring an umbrella and be prepared to get wet if you'd like to come, and you could bring the dogs if you want. A lot of other people bring dogs there. And his second date idea is to go to the gorge at Niagara Falls. And I told him this on the date itself because he brought this up on our first date. Kid you not, he goes, I gotta bring you to the gorge. And I was like, do you? You can. And so in this text, he says the second option is to go to the gorge at Niagara Falls. And he said, I of course would love for you to bring Bubba and Bo, but I'm not sure if it'll be too hard with them with all the stairs. And he said, it's definitely a workout, but it's totally worth it for the view. Okay, 24-year-old. So I replied and I said, how are you gonna make me choose between these 2 awesome dates? And I said, I think we should do both. And he agreed.
And so now, coming up one of these days, we're going to do activity in the rain. And then next week, we're also going to go to the gorge at Niagara Falls.
I don't know. I think they're both consenting adults. It is what it is. But like, it's just something about it is just weird with her for some reason. And I think it's the way she talks about it too. She's like, okay, 24-year-old. Like, I don't know. Weird. But anyways, cut to the next dangly earrings update, and she's pissed because he canceled due to weather and the fact that it was supposed to be like an outdoorsy kind of activity date, and the plans that they had probably wouldn't be possible, or if they were possible, they wouldn't be as fun when it's storming outside. And notably, she shows the actual screenshot of the text from this guy, which is like wild to me, like even more wild to me than filming the date.
Woke up to this text from Dangly Earrings.
Basically, him canceling this date like ruins the rest of her day, to the point where she is like not wanting to go see her sisters or like friends' new puppy, and says that she needs to do a self-care day and whatever because she's so disappointed.
I'm so disappointed and angry. I'm just so frustrated with dating at this point. Like, there's just so much disappointment and lack of consistency. It's so easy for people to cancel plans now. Like, for example, by contrast, I was excited about this date for days, and today Jenny got a new puppy, and she invited me over, of course, but I said no because I had these plans. And now you think, okay, sure, you can, now that this date is canceled, you can just go do that anyways, but I am in such a bad mood that I need to do a self-care day, or else I will be miserable. I'm just not in the mood to be sharing in someone else's joy today, which is so disappointing, because if I didn't have this date plan to begin with, I could have just had my Monday plan B to go spend time with Jenny and the puppy. But no, I had plans. Or even if you would have canceled it yesterday, I could have remade plans. I could have just been angry for the evening, then remade plans to spend with Jenny today, right? But no, he cancels the day of. And I mean, I at least appreciate he didn't ghost me like so many other men do. Two things are coexisting right now. The Molly that is so exhausted from the disappointment of dating, disappointed Molly and the angry Molly, has no more F's to give. And I'm fully expecting for this guy to never reschedule and for me never to see him again. That side of Molly is a huge pessimist, because being a pessimist feels better right now than expecting something good out of a man that has yet to prove me that he can do that. So instead of pouring hope into someone I've just met, I'm pouring love into myself today. And the part of me that is a human does understand. It's not his fault the weather's like this. And I understand what it's like to have a long weekend and you want some time to yourself. Like, I do completely understand that. Does that make me any less disappointed? No, it doesn't. Does part of me wish that he would push through feeling tired just because of how badly he wants to see me? Yeah. But does part of me think that that's a bit delulu considering I only met this man once? Also, yeah. All these things are coexisting and all of it's a mess and I'm annoyed, and I just placed an Instacart order for a lot of self-care things, candles, comfort snacks, so it's gonna be a neat day.
We've seen this before, again, with the tax guy, where she writes off a night with her friend and her dog as a horrible evening because this guy stood her up, which I will say I have been stood up before and it does not feel great. Like, I understand that. But also it just seems like the rescheduling of the dates, like, seems to just impact her entire mood for the rest of the day and how she treats her friends and like her life that day. You know what I mean? I've also seen her talk about this in other videos that I haven't shown yet here, which I'll show right here.
Taking every ounce of energy I have to record this video right now. I know it sounds dramatic, but I had plans for a date tonight and he canceled for a seemingly legit reason. He said that one of his friends is having a hard time and he needs to be there for her. I've dated so much at this point that I am fully expecting him to never follow through on remaking plans with me, and that I will probably never meet him. Well, this was cute trendy name guy, by the way. You can say I'm jaded for that, you could say I'm being a pessimist, but I just know in dating, especially in the beginning stages, how quickly momentum can just fall off. So I'm completely mentally prepared never to meet this guy now. And I was looking forward to the date. I had plans to be really productive today during the day, and instead I turned into a potato and laid on the couch all day. Do you want the good news? Both of my dates this weekend are happening! Yay! Oh, wonderful. So nice. So Saturday night, for the dog trick-or-treating, I texted him yesterday and asked how his week has been. He didn't answer. And now it's, you know, middle of the afternoon, a day later, he still hasn't answered me. So I'm like, yeah, that date's not happening. Because at this point in my life, I only have dates happen if you actually confirm a day in advance. So to me, that date is done. I'm obviously still going to the event, but that's done. And then Sunday guy, the one we were gonna watch the Bill scheme together, he's had a really rough week. This week has kicked his ass, and he doesn't know if he's up for it. He's gonna let me know tomorrow. I'll be holding my breath till then.
But I think, again, this goes to the conversation of, like, no matter how much she vehemently denies it, because she does, saying that men are not the center of her life.
This is also a comment I get very often. Newsflash. Men are not the center of my life. They're not. I know it might seem like that to you because you see snippets of my life that are very entertaining and comical because they're these dating stories and dating experiences that I have. But if you notice, do I post a dating video every single day? I don't. So that means there's a lot going on in my life that has nothing to do with men that I'm dating.
I think just watching how her mood just shifts when someone that she has a date planned with cancels is something that could be explored maybe on her end of like, why? And why can't you do something else, right? Or why are you letting this affect the rest of your day? I think another thing that I noticed watching so much of Molly's content for this video is that, one, I can tell that she doesn't love being alone, and two, I can tell that she doesn't love like not having plans, even if it's with friends. Like she just doesn't love not having plans. Being alone and not dating at all is such an important time to have, and I don't know if she's had time like that. Like she is older than me, but like the snippets of time where I have just been truly by myself with my friends, not dating anybody, have been the times where I have learned the most about myself. I am very much in one of those times right now, and I don't know, I just feel like Molly maybe hasn't learned that like it's okay to be single and not date, and it's okay to not have plans and to just be alone and hang out, you know? And I just think these are really good examples of her maybe not liking that. But she ends the vlog with it absolutely pouring outside, so probably a good thing the date was rescheduled, and just with the idea that she'll probably never see this guy again. But then cut to her next video about dangly earrings, and it's her talking about how she's going on another date with him. So which again, she shows the actual text messages with him, which is just so odd to me. I don't know. In the vlog with the date, this is another notable thing of like, hey Molly, maybe it's time for some self-reflection here. She's talking about how she's walking the 40-minute walk to the date while running 30 minutes late to the date already, while also stopping places with her dogs because she has them. And then also she's talking about how sweaty she is because it's so hot, and she's walking 40 minutes to this date that she's already 30 minutes late for. And she was running late because of a bagel.
All right, let's go to the date, shall we? Not gonna lie, it's a 40-minute walk to where we're meeting, and I've only been walking maybe 3 minutes and I'm already sweating profusely. I brought my portable fan. I meant to pack some tissues to like dab my sweat off when I get there, but I forgot. And I'm running about 30 minutes late. So not the best start, I have to say. Kind of struggling, but he was nice about it. Like I did warn him in advance that I was running late. It happened because I made myself a bagel and I burned the bagel. And so then I had to make the bagel again, and that's what made me run late. And he was like, no worries, take your time. So and then I started walking my dogs and realized that I forgot my poop bags. I just wish the street I had to walk down was more shaded. I think that's my biggest issue. It's like, you can see like a little bit of shade and then long patches of sun. And that's when I really get sweaty. Oh, look how beautiful today looks though. There's not a cloud in the sky. My makeup has already come off. Like this makes me sad. Oh my God. Okay, I'm just not gonna look at myself till I get like almost there, and then I'll fix myself. Go get some water. Lots of water for you, Bubs. Other water. I've already there like 20 minutes to go.
Oh, you're being good boys. Corgi, but I see walking down the street. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Say thank you.
Okay, I got myself a water. I'm almost there. I brought my fan. I'm trying to dry myself off before I get there. Like, I don't have a problem with the walking, actually. The walking feels great. It's just the fact that I sweat so much on my face. Like, that's the worst part. I'm dry, so my eyebrows are already coming off. Not feel cute anymore. Help. The older I get, the more irritated I am by how casual people treat time. Time is not casual to me. I take my time very seriously. I'm not winging it when I meet up with anyone. And that's not even an expectation I'm just giving to people I date. That's even my friends and my family. I never have up in the air plans about when I'm meeting people. Never, because people have so many things going on in their lives. I genuinely don't understand that mentality, but anyways.
So yeah. After this one, after this date with dangly earrings, we get another dangly earrings update that he broke it off with her. And that's the end of the dangling earrings saga.
So, Dangly Earrings called me today. We've never spoken on the phone before. And he called to end things with me. Oh, God. The phone call started out with him saying, I don't really know how to say this, but basically, I don't think it's a good idea for us to continue to date. I have a lot of things in my life that I'm working on right now, like the whole spiel about, like, it's not you, it's me sort of thing. But then we ended up talking on the phone for, I swear, like 20 minutes or so. We got into the nitty gritty. He was basically telling me that he thinks we're at different points in our lives where I'm most likely looking for something more serious than he is, which I completely agree with. I know people in the comments are gonna go, oh my god, it's because he's 24 and you're 32. Like, I know. You all are gonna say that in the comments, and go ahead and do so. He did admit to being intimidated by me, which I thought was very honest. He's like, with all of your traveling and all the things you've accomplished, I just think there's a lot I want to do in my life, and it might seem really selfish, but I just want to do those things alone. And I totally get that.
The next guy we get after dangly earrings is some British guy that she has a 20-minute FaceTime with, and then decides to road trip 2 hours away to see him and rent a rental car to do so. This guy's visiting for work, and for the sake of brevity, she goes and meets him, and that's pretty much it. But the main thing that people had issues with were the fact that he road tripped to see him when she had never met him before, which is like potentially very dangerous. And she also packed like a ton of food and like makeup and stuff for the trip, even though it was literally a 2-hour ride away, and also did her hair and makeup like on the side of the road.
I have 2 chicken salad wraps, a banana, 2 cheese sticks. I don't really have an ice pack. Should I like put a baggie of ice in there? Is that silly? Let's do it. Cute! Perfume and my primer. Bronzer. More bronzer. Concealer. This is technically concealer, but I use it as foundation. Eyebrows. Mascara. Freckies. Eyelash curler. Nail glue, just in case one of these pops off. Deodorant. Powder. Extra sets of contacts. Blush. Setting spray. Toothpaste. Toothbrush. Dry shampoo. My plan is to drive there, and when I'm like a half hour, 45 minutes away, I'll pull over, do my makeup, and then change my clothes and do my hair. Oh man, I'm sweating just packing like this. Jesus Christ. Side to go pen. Lip liner, my lip gloss. Portable fan, of course. Cell phone charger. Okay, and then I'm also bringing my hair dryer and my round brush. My plan is to wear my hair down with a middle part, but if it's like really looking terrible, I have this claw clip, so I'll just wear it up with like my bangs down if this doesn't work out. Also these sunnies. Okay, let's go.
So there's that. The next date, and the last one that we're going to talk about here, was with a guy from India, but is studying AI in Buffalo. And she films herself during the date, like having a good time and whatever, but then like abruptly cuts to talking about how awful it was and how it ended terribly and how she'd update us later.
My first date in like a month. Guys, I feel really cute tonight. I'm excited to meet this guy. So he's from India. He goes to university in Buffalo. It's his first time in the States ever. And he's studying AI. How cool is that? So maybe he's a smarty patootie. He's adorable. Like, absolutely adorable. I don't want to squeeze him. He's so cute. Vibes are so good. We already talked about meeting up for another date. I'm a little bummed because I'm going to go to a second location with me, but he does have classes in the morning, so I don't fully blame him. This date ended terribly. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. It was so bad in the end.
And so then she makes 2 7.5-minute long videos the next day, like telling us why this date went so poorly. Very, very long story short, she started off thinking that he was cute and everything was going well and whatever, but then they wind up kissing in the bar that they are in, and he basically like fondles her boobs.
We're talking super close, and I'm like, do you think it's okay if we kiss in here? And he's like, I mean, if it's okay with you. Like, and then I was like, yeah, you can kiss me. And so we kissed, and it was really sweet, and I was loving it. And then, mid-kiss, he grabs me. Oh, I didn't realize that we're triggering a trauma response out of me tonight. Ooh, that's fun. That's plot twist I didn't see coming. Ooh, yay, awesome. There's some good old-fashioned trauma response, Bo, on a date. It's what we love. We love that.
Which very obviously catches her off guard, and she tells him like that wasn't okay, like you should have asked, and he's apparently super apologetic and mortified about grabbing her.
And so I was really honest with him about how inappropriate that was, considering we were in a public space. And then he was extremely apologetic. Like, this guy was mortified, honestly. He proceeds to tell me about how the most recent girl he went out with is from Spain, and how when they were making out, she said to him, why aren't you touching my... And so I guess homeboy interpreted that as that's what every girl wants to do when you're making out with her in public. Interesting. Interesting take on that one. So I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, every girl's different, and most women have experienced some form of assault and trauma And so, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I told him that I actually find it really attractive when a man asks permission to do something. Like I said, like when you asked to kiss me, I thought that was super attractive. I loved that. I was like, lean into that. Lean on the side of caution. Ask people before you do something like that. Also, I said a pretty good rule of thumb is that touching someone in that way is reserved for the privacy of your own bedroom, not while you're out in public at a restaurant. And he was like, oh my God, you're so right. I'm so sorry. I can really tell he was really upset. So we ended up getting a third drink. I think it was because he just felt so bad.
She talks about how she told him that she liked that he asked her permission to kiss her initially, and that she likes when men ask her permission to do things like that, which, like, same. I love that kind of stuff, and I'm being 100% honest with you guys. Even though she was made wildly uncomfortable by this, she still meets up with him and one of her other friends at a bar because she didn't think he was going to go to the second location, so she asked one of her friends to meet her at another location to, like, celebrate a good date or whatever.
And we go back outside and we're talking more. And the next part, well, I think so many women are going to be able to relate to this. I started feeling bad for him because I am who I am and how much empathy I have. I was really understanding of his point of view, and I started consoling him and reassuring him that he's not a bad person, that we make mistakes sometimes in life, and it's important how he responded, and he responded with understanding and respect and kindness, and I said, as long as you don't do it again, it's okay. I literally forgave this man. So then I tell him I have to finish this third drink pretty fast because my friend's already at the other location to meet me, and she's already there, so I'm gonna meet her. I was like, you're more than welcome to come, and we did have good conversation. I will say that he was interrupting the both of us quite a bit, and I didn't like that, but again, since I'm so understanding, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt because I was like, English is not his native language. I can tell he's nervous, and I feel like he just wants to contribute to the conversation, and so I don't think he's trying to interrupt us in a rude way. I think he just, like, wants to be in the conversation with us. Him and I are being cute next to each other, like, you know, hands on our thighs and stuff like that. And then, God, Bo. And then...
But basically, when they get to the second location, she helps a woman who lost her phone try and find her phone by Molly giving her phone to call the woman's missing phone. You know what I mean? And he, like, lectures her about how unsafe that was and whatever. And that, like, you can tell by her retelling of this story, like, really, really triggered her.
Homeboy decides to essentially scold me and criticize me for giving my phone to a stranger. He's telling me how dangerous that is, how someone could just steal it, how he doesn't trust people, and he really cares about protecting people that he cares about. Basically just telling me how risky it is what I did, and, like, not to do that. And I look at him and I'm like, I'm very capable of assessing danger in a situation. I could tell she wasn't gonna do anything with my phone. I felt completely fine giving it to her. But he keeps talking about it. He keeps going. He's, like, definitely mansplaining at this point. And then I'm getting mad. Because I'm like, you're not respecting my ability as an adult human being to make my own decisions about my own safety. Even if what I did was risky, just the extent he was going through to explain this to me was really rubbing me the wrong way. And if I had already been trauma triggered earlier in the night, now it was even more, because now we're entering territory of a man telling me what to do, hiding behind the facade of being a knight in shining armor, of protecting the people around him. Don't tell me what to do, respect my autonomy and maturity as a human being to make my own decisions. Okay? You're not my father, you don't need to take care of me, I am fine. It is fine, everything is fine. Please stop talking to me about it. That tone of voice did come out in the end, where, like, I was really controlling myself because I was super mad. And I remember I was looking at him and I was doing that thing where when you're so angry, you talk in, like, a slow, calm voice. I remember I said to him, I am a strong, independent woman who has traveled all over the world. I am completely capable of assessing the safety of a situation like that. Please do not tell me what to do, and respect my own decision-making for my own life. That's essentially what I told him.
Because then he, like, touches the small of her back and asks her, like, is it okay if I do this? And then also asks her if he can kiss her, which she gets frustrated about in her retelling of the story. But I'm also like, girl, that's literally what you asked him to do, for you to do however many hours before. So he's just, I don't know, listening.
He was like, no, you're absolutely right. I totally get that. I've learned so much from you tonight. Like, you obviously were such a good teacher because you taught me so much about confidence. So now I'm getting the ick. Like, now my skin is starting to crawl. I'm like, I'm not your mommy, I'm not your teacher, I am on this date with you to find connection, to ultimately find a partner, okay? Instantly I was like, this is never gonna work. Like, never, never, ever, ever, ever. And then, the icing on the cake is he says, you've taught me how to be a better man. Oh, have I? Oh, have I? How nice. Isn't that so nice, Bo? I taught him how to be a better man. I didn't realize that was my responsibility that night. A man who crossed my physical boundaries and touched me inappropriately in a public place. I taught him how to be a better man. Isn't that so nice? He's so for real. When he said that, I instantly looked at my friend. I said, yo, we're gonna go. If that's not bad enough, he puts his hand on my back. And he's like, is it okay if I touch you here? And I look at him, I'm like, look, I expect you to be able to discern the difference between touching someone's back and touching someone's in a public space. Is this person a child? We get up to leave, okay? And he goes, can I kiss you? What? What? No, that did not just come out of his actual childish mouth. No way. I look at him, I'm like, no, you can't. Me and my friend leave, and we just had like a girl powwow the rest of the night venting about this man.
But like overall, did this dude seem like a good dude? Probably not. But like, do I think it's possible things didn't go well due to like miscommunications on either sides of this coin? Probably. But did he still have permission to grab her tits in public? Absolutely not. I also had to wonder with this one, just given the track record, even though she never states his age, I don't think, in these videos, he is in college, and I just had to wonder how old he was, you know, and if that was contributing to some of his behavior. Not saying that that's okay, but it's just like, I just had to wonder, you know. So those are like 4 of like the more notable dates she's been on that have like kind of become part of her lore on the internet. And we haven't gone into her main controversies yet, besides like the tax date. I think that would be considered maybe a controversy. But like I said, I wanted to go over some of her dating exploits and stuff so you could get an idea of like who she is and what her content is like and how she like approaches her platform. Because I think a lot of people have issues with her placing blame on the people she goes on dates with, while also presenting herself a lot of things that like she could probably maybe do some self-reflecting on and be like, hey, maybe this isn't helping my dates either. Like she just completely ignores those facts about herself. I'm not excusing some of the men's like horrific behaviors in these stories that she tells like at all, but I do think she also just like nitpicks a lot in the beginning stages of getting to know someone, which is literally just the introductory phase of things. And I mean, obviously it's okay to have like hard no's, like if something happens and you're like, absolutely not, this isn't gonna work, or like even just communication styles or whatever, like if you just know it's not gonna work, then it's not gonna work. But I do think she like nitpicks a lot, but I also like think she just fails to see how just the invasiveness of just her filming the dates and like sharing screenshots of text messages might also be scaring these guys off, which like I don't understand how that is not like the first thing. They might consent to like you making content about the date or whatever, but I feel like they do not understand that she's going to be filming the date. She is going to be like updating while he's in the bathroom. I also think when she's talking about the guys that she's going on dates with, a lot of times it sounds like she kind of like expects guys to fix things in her life for her. Not that you can't have things to work on going into a relationship, absolutely not. But like, I'm personally of the belief that like you should feel satisfied with your life and just expect a partner to come in and like make it better and enhance it, not necessarily fix things for you. Can that happen like without trying? Absolutely. I've had that happen many times and it's beautiful and whatever. The way she talks about it, I don't know, just for me, it stood out when she was like talking about the guy doing her taxes, potentially helping her with her taxes, but also like her finances. I don't know. There's just some of the ways she talks about the guy she's going on dates with is very odd to me. And it just seems like she's placing too much importance on these guys already before she even met them. But on top of all of this, like she refuses to take accountability. People comment things being like more like pretty nice about it, being like, hey, maybe this could help, or like commenting on how she can't be surprised when young guys, 23, 24-year-old guys act like flaky 23, 24-year-old guys. Like you, as a 32-year-old woman, you can't be surprised when that happens. Like I'm a 28-year-old woman, and if I went on a date with a 23-year-old dude, I wouldn't be surprised if he flaked on me because that's just what they do. Like that, in my experience anyways. And I'll be honest, so like all of this criticism now I'm sharing here, but like I was very much like a silent observer of her for a while. And I sometimes will make TikToks when I feel like I have something to yap about, even though my TikTok following is way smaller than any of my other social media following. But I never talked about her until recently because, like, I was Molly Rutter. Okay, like, I was Molly Rutter when I started dating. I think this goes back to the fact that I started dating in my early 20s. Like, I didn't have my first kiss or anything until I was 23. And so I didn't have any dating experience when I was a teenager. So a lot of my immaturities with dating came out when I was in my 20s. And I saw another creator talk about this once upon a time on TikTok, and I can't remember for the life of me. I'll have to see if I have it saved. But she talks about how people who oftentimes don't have a lot of dating experience from their teens and stuff date like teens but have like adult consequences, and that is how I can sum up my dating history like to this point. I didn't have any of like the immature dating and whatever that came with like high school and college and stuff, and so it all just kind of started when I was on my own, being an adult, working in a career and all of that. And so I was adult in many other ways, like in a lot of other ways, but I was not when it came to dating. And now I feel like I kind of am, but it took a while to get there. And so I have to wonder too, if like Molly's mom passing in her early 20s kind of took away the like messy early 20s of dating for her. And so I always had that kind of in the back of my mind where like she's dating as an adult, but she's dating as a teen with adult consequences, because like that's just the timeline she's on, and I can relate to that. Not with a parent passing, thank God, but like not having that experience. I don't know. She's never said that. That could just be me projecting. I have no idea. But that was just something that I always thought in the back of my head when I watched her messy dating content. And yeah, because like overall I could empathize with her lack of like self-awareness and her over communication, and also her inability to decenter men and dating from her life. I could really empathize with that. And so like I never wanted to criticize her for it, because like I'm still learning. I've done a lot of learning on that. But like I always kind of had in the back of my mind, maybe she didn't get a chance to do this in her early 20s because her mom was sick and then wound up passing away. So that's why I was always kind of a silent observer, is because I just felt like it was hypocritical for me to come on talking only about her dating content, right? Then she started getting into actual controversies, and I started to see her content through like a completely different lens. And yeah, so let's just get into all those. So this is a smaller thing, and I haven't seen many people talk about this on TikTok, but I wanted to talk about it here just for a second, because basically there's just some weirdness here with her ex-boyfriend from Turkey. And like I said, she lived in Turkey for a time, and she dated a guy there for I think like a year, and they broke up. And I think after that is when her dating content started, but she was just in Turkey for a while at the beginning of the year. Like after she came back from Turkey and was living back in Buffalo, she was still very much talking about her ex, and who is now married, right?
So I did something really toxic. You know how on TikTok it shows you on this day, it shows you little memories of your previous TikToks. Well, one of my memories was a video of me and my ex-boyfriend. For those who don't know this already, I dated a Turkish guy for a year and a half when I was in Turkey. It was really serious. I honestly thought I was gonna marry this guy. And so I was feeling really good about it all day. And then stupid me, opened up his Instagram and just stalked him and his wife's content. Worst thing you could possibly do, I know. But it was like this itch that I needed to scratch, because I wanted so badly to see him not doing well. And I know that's really, again, messed up to admit, but don't we all do that with our exes? Because someone who did us dirty, we just hope that they're not doing well. We're broken up now for over a year, and so I just thought that I was in a good place with it. And then I just got that TikTok notification. I saw that video, and I stalked him and his wife's Instagrams. I shouldn't have done that, because I found out now they're living in Chicago, and I just, oh my god, I went down a rabbit hole. Cheated on me, and I broke up with him. And then I, of course, today, since I was feeling toxic, I went and stalked his social media, and I found out he's married. He got married less than a year after cheating on me and getting broken up with.
She even posted like old montages with him saying how much she missed her, how much she missed that life and whatever.
I miss Turkey. My beautiful apartment. Seriously, these TikTok memories really kill me, because it's a lot of content with my ex, and I know that I ended for a good reason, but it's just, I think about when the relationship was good, and how positive of an experience that was in my life. And I'm really happy to be home. I love living in Buffalo. I love being closer to my friends and family. But God, TikTok really gets me. These memories, like, I don't want to delete these videos, but like, I don't know, I wonder if there's a way to like turn off the memories feature or something. Because I don't need to be put into this tailspin of emotions on random days, unexpectedly.
And a lot of people like rightfully clocked her saying this was weird because he's married now. On top of that, I'm also like not trying to make something out of nothing, but like the way she talked about her ex-boyfriend and then also about the men she goes on dates with who are not from America seems almost like fetishizing instead of like appreciative, you know what I mean? Like she'd constantly call her ex her quote Turkish boyfriend in content that had him in it. And just the way she's talked about guys that she's gone on dates with who weren't from America or maybe weren't the same race as her has always just like rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to start with that, even though it's not really a widely talked about controversy. But the next one has been talked about. And this is surrounding someone finding her Hinge profile, taking screenshots of it, posting it on Reddit, people seeing it. And everybody pretty much who has seen it agreeing that she does not look how she looks in her Hinge profile anymore based on what we see on TikTok. A lot of the photos are clearly like pretty old and just like not an accurate representation of like what she looks like on TikTok based on how she shows herself on TikTok in her outfits and like her body and whatever. I'm not on apps at all anymore, and I don't think I will be for the foreseeable future. But like when I was horrified of like accidentally catfishing people with my pictures. I would purposefully like choose like worse, like maybe like one picture that I really liked of myself, and then like the rest of them were just kind of like normal pictures because I didn't want to be like dolled up in all of them because like I don't look like this all the time. Shocking, right? I can understand like her having insecurity about people finding this out and having opinions on it, but like she disagreed with people like vehemently and did not see the issue in it when like even I just objectively, like I'm not criticizing her body now, I'm not criticizing her body then, whatever, like I'm not criticizing how she looked then versus how she looked now, but like objectively, like there is a difference there. Okay, for me it would be like me putting pictures of me 40 pounds ago on my dating profile as opposed to what I look like now. But she's just like not seeing this, and she saw it more as like invasive, and she posted a couple of responses, so I'll put those clips here.
Can I be honest and vulnerable with you about something? Because that's what I like to do on here. I've been thinking about how much I would love to get on the dating apps and match with people and schedule dates, but I no longer feel safe doing so. And it's because of the faceless, nameless people on Reddit. The people who screenshotted my dating profile and felt that it was a good use of their time to compare my appearance in photos to my appearance in TikTok videos and accused me of being a catfish. Because of you, I no longer feel safe on the dating apps. And I know what some of the haters are going to be thinking. They're going to be thinking, yeah, but technically a dating profile is public, and you have a public TikTok account where you talk about dating. Yeah, I do. But this is an issue of consent. Because me making this video and posting it on a public platform on TikTok, that's me giving consent to receiving comments, right? Now that doesn't even necessarily mean I want comments criticizing my appearance, right? But at least you can argue that I have my comments turned on, and that then opens up to commentary, right? But in no way, shape, or form did I ever consent to my dating profile to be viewed by thousands of people and picked apart and ridiculed. I didn't consent to that. And I would never consent to that. There's a reason why I've never shared my dating profile on my TikTok when people have asked me to. I don't want opinions about it. I don't want to hear commentary about my dating profile. The only people I want to view my profile, the only people I'm consenting to view my profile are those who are on the dating apps, swiping right and left, having conversations and trying to make dates happen. That's what I've consented to. And so here I am now, feeling super anxious because I no longer feel safe on the dating apps, and I don't know if I will ever feel safe on them again. One of the most efficient tools for modern dating has been taken away from me. That's what it feels like. And I wish I could say that I had the courage and the confidence to get back on them and not care about the Reddit haters. I could ignore the Reddit haters for a lot of things, but this one hit different. This one made me feel extremely violated, and I don't know if I will ever feel differently about it. Maybe I will over time, but as of right now, I don't. And it is very sad, and it makes me very angry. I'm really angry about it. And so to all of the lovely people of Reddit, to you I would say, if you continue to participate in conversations where you are criticizing my appearance in photos compared to my appearance on TikTok, to that I will say congratulations. Congratulations for participating in a conversation that perpetuates really shallow views of people's bodies in relation to dating. Congratulations for participating in a conversation where you are violating another person for something they did not consent to. Congrats. I hope you feel good about yourself. Because here's the thing. Let's just say you're right. Even if you are right, who cares? Like, do you really think I care about having a few photos on a dating app where I have less body fat than I have now? Do you really think that that's like a concern of mine? Genuinely, I'm wondering. Because I think so highly of myself that so many other things cross my mind when I think about how I'm presenting myself to the dating world. Like in those photos where I have less body fat, I'm thinking, oh my God, I look so cute. I love my outfit. I look like I'm having so much fun and I'm there with my dogs. I want to represent that on my dating profile. And I'll be damned if I ever go on a date with someone who sees a few photos where I'm thinner and then sees me in person and thinks, oh my God, she's a catfish. I never want to date her again. Oh my God, if I ever encounter someone like that, please, I hope they run for the hills. And who knows, maybe I already have encountered people like that. Do you have any idea how many times I've gone on dates where someone looks different in person than their photos? This happens all the time. I've said this before. So often men look so much better in person than they do in their photos. And do you think those people are catfishing me then? What about men who are clean shaven in photos with short hair, but in person they have a beard and long hair? Are they catfishing? What about people who show pictures of themselves in the summertime where they have more of a suntan, more freckles on their face, but then you go on a date with them in the winter? Are they catfishing you? Someone who has a different hair color, are they catfishing? No? No, you don't consider that catfishing. But you consider it times where you have more or less body fat. Do you really think it crosses my mind when I'm putting together my dating profile? Do you really think I'm thinking, I better make sure all my photos show exactly the correct amount of body fat that I have right now? Do you really think I care about that? That's a concern of mine? I hope to God I never encounter people in real life like those nameless, faceless Reddit people. Because those are not the people I want to surround myself with. Beauty is more than skin deep. Beauty is more than just the amount of body fat you have on. Bodies fluctuate, appearances change. What matters is how you are on the inside. I would rather be a catfish for showing more or less body fat than to be a nameless, faceless coward on Reddit criticizing someone else's body. I'd rather be that kind of catfish than to be the kind of catfish you are on Reddit, where you're pretending to be some high and mighty justice warrior. We better protect all these people out there so they don't date Molly because, oh my gosh, wait till they see how much body fat she has on her. My God! Like, find something else to do with your time. Why do you care? Are you the one going on the date with me? You better not. Like, genuinely, why does it matter to you? I've never spent time thinking about that. I've never even come close to thinking something like that. I'll never understand it. And I'm so mad that you've made me feel unsafe to present myself in a dating profile. It makes me so angry. But I know I need to protect myself right now. I know that if I go back on these apps and I find out Reddit's getting worse, I know I'm going to crumble. And so I just need to protect my peace at this time and not participate in that. I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what this means about the future of my dating life. And then therefore, what's the future of my dating content?
But I think this kind of opens up a bigger conversation that maybe she's just like learning as she goes, which like so have I, but not on this level because I'm not a dating content creator. Dating as a public figure is very weird. And like that's also why I'm kind of staying off apps and stuff because like I just don't want to be out there like that. And for her it's hard because dating is her whole brand and her whole content, right? And so yeah, I can understand how overwhelming this would be to learn as you like just go through it and have to go through it while being online. But also just like maybe again taking a step back and being like maybe there's something here might not hurt, you know? Because it does suck, but like looks are the first thing, like the first step in dating for most people. You say, I'm attracted to that person, and that's what makes you swipe right on them or talk to them in public if you have balls that I do not have. Or like, you know what I mean? And so like, that's important, and having an accurate representation of how you look, regardless of your insecurities on your dating app profile, is really important because it's gonna help things go a little bit more smoothly. And I think that's like why people still talk about this, because I think it just drew more attention to her, like never doing the reflection as to how she could make her dating life better by maybe like again reflecting on some things about herself, or in this case her dating app profiles. Both those things aside, I think the most alarming controversy she's had surrounding her content in her short time being at the level that she's been at was she did ad for a haunted house at the end of October, or maybe it was in the beginning of October, in October, where she basically like clickbaited DV. This was when I saw people being like, wow, I can't follow this person anymore or whatever. And basically what happened here was Molly posted a very typical Molly style video, her getting ready to go out on a date, and she was like alluding to how he was like a little more punk or like grunge, I can't remember what word she used exactly, and how they were going to go to a haunted house. And then the date ends with an abrupt clip of her with a black eye and police car lights like flashing in front of her face.
Doing my makeup for a date, can you believe? I know most of my followers, I don't need to remind you of this. Look, I'm completely aware that this is my job now. I'm completely aware also that my dating content is the stuff that goes most viral. But the thing is, I'm dating for genuine reasons, okay? I don't go on dates constantly. So yeah, basically, I go on dates when I go on dates, all right? I'm gonna try to do less concealer. Just a little bit of this. My blush. And the thing too is, don't they always say that blush is the first thing to fade, so it's okay to overdo it a little because it's just gonna come off. And I feel like for a date, it's okay to be overdoing the blush a little, you know? It's cute. Okay, now let's set just a little. Let's contour my nose a little bit more. I'm gonna do my transition shade with my bronzer, lift my eyelids up like I normally do. But I'm definitely gonna go in darker with my eyes. I'm gonna go in with this like brown, you see? And like carve out just a bit more for depth. I want it to be darker, but not like, I don't want like a full smoky eye, I think. Just like a partial one, sort of, you know? Now I'm gonna go in with my brown eyeliner. So I'm concentrating mostly on the outside, and I keep my eye open the whole time I do it, because I do have a bit of a hooded eye. Go in at the inner waterline. Just makes it look really subtly sexy. I'm using Marlia Scott. Always linked to my TikTok, if anyone wants to know. I hope this saves the look because I'm not super happy with it right now. I don't know if it's crazy, but I'm feeling like I want to put more blush on. I don't know if that's a mistake. I'm highlighting my nose with a little bit of concealer. Now eyebrows. I'm literally using a NYX black liquid liner. My eyebrows are so painfully uneven. Not a good makeup day, my friends. So I'm hoping that's not a bad sign. Okay, I think good enough for the brows. Maybe I'll try this Makeup Forever one. Shadow does look cool though. It's got like a nice green shift to it, if you can see. Is this guy gonna really notice? Is he? Probably not. I feel like I accidentally got like charcoal black eyeliner instead of a jet black. I think it looks a little bit more natural than the jet black looks on me, so I guess that's not a bad thing. Okay, I feel like I saved that makeup situation. Oh, that's pretty. All right, there's the hair and makeup. Let's get dressed. You're gonna hate it. Okay, here's the fit. So many people told me not to wear this, but I just don't care. I feel so cute. I feel comfy and sexy. Like, I'm sorry. Are you going to tell me that this doesn't look cute? Are you going to try to tell me that? I feel so confident. I'm like Beyonce, standing in front of my air conditioner waiting for my Uber. Wait. This is the scariest day of my life.
And the caption for this initial TikTok was, first of all, I'm safe. I gotta take care of myself tonight and process what happened, but I'll give you a full story time tomorrow. I can't believe this is my life. Hashtag dating in your 30s, hashtag date from hell. And needless to say, given the fact that this was like in line with so much of her other content, like people very much thought it was real and people very much were scared. And especially because she didn't do a follow-up on this for 24 hours after posting the initial thing. So people were commenting that they were actually like really worried for her. If you can hear, I don't know, there's something going on. Yeah. If you can't, great. But if you can, just want to put a disclaimer. Anyways, then she comes back with this clip.
Here's the highly anticipated recap of my date from hell. Literally, the scariest date I have ever gone on in my life. So this man surprised me. A private tour of Rutter, which is one of the biggest haunted houses in the country, actually. And I feel really lucky that we have this in Western New York. I've been going to this every year since I was like a little kid. I feel like I've always loved Rutter. And so I thought it was such a cool experience and I got to go through it privately. And I feel like haunted houses are the perfect date night because you get to play all damsel in distress and hang on to them for dear life. It's just like intimate and fruity and fun, and just the adrenaline rush you get from being scared out of your mind the entire time. Like, I just had an absolute blast. And then my zombie boyfriend, he took me to get my makeup done by their makeup artist, and I got to match him with the zombie attire, so we were a cute little undead couple. Sorry to scare you.
The caption was, "You may have already guessed it, ... My date actually happened in hell. At Fright World, hashtag dating story time, date from hell, haunted house, Halloween date night, fall date ideas, whatever." That's right, folks. This was an ad for a haunted house. People were rightfully pissed about this. Seeing as she basically clickbaited DV, or just some kind of physical assault happening to a woman on a first date, which would be unacceptable no matter what. But the fact that it was also in October, which is DV Awareness Month, when you are a female dating content creator dating men, and this is a very realistic thing that could happen to women on dates. Yeah. So after this, everyone was kind of waiting for like an apology from her of some kind. But in true Molly fashion, she does not really do that in her first one.
Hi everyone, I want to get on here and address the recent videos I posted and have since taken down. For some context, I went to a haunted house to film content and dress up with a makeup look that was spooky, Halloween inspired to match the theme of this zombie date experience. That said, I've read your comments and I understand that there were people who felt that my makeup look, which included a black eye and a busted lip, was highlighting domestic violence and physical abuse, which was absolutely not my intention at all. I always act under the premise that even people with good intentions, their actions and their behaviors and their words can have unintended negative consequences on others. I do not feel it would be right to profit off of content that highlights something as serious as domestic violence and physical abuse. And so that is why I have removed those videos. For those who don't know me, or maybe you haven't been following me very long, I absolutely love Halloween. It's a big part of who I am. Everything from dressing up to going to haunted houses. I'm just a huge lover of anything Halloween and fall, which is why I even went forward to make this content in the first place. I'm always open to learning and growing. And so I do appreciate so many of you bringing this to my attention. And I sincerely hope to continue to create on this platform in a way that is positive and respectful of everyone.
When people weren't happy with that response, we got this next one.
Hi everyone. I want to make another video as an extension or a follow-up to my previous one in terms of the haunted house dating content that I posted, because I realize it's very obvious to me now that the core reason that people were so upset was not properly addressed in my previous video. And so I recognize completely and take full accountability for the way my content was framed and the way my makeup was done and the way the set was and the way I wrote my caption, how all of that created this picture that I was a victim of physical violence on my date. And understandably, many of you were then genuinely concerned and scared for my well-being. And then how all of that created this picture that I was exploiting something as serious as domestic violence for clickbait. And as I mentioned in the previous video, none of that was my intention whatsoever. But I understand that in situations like this, even people with the best intentions, that doesn't matter. And impact is more important than intent. And so I take full accountability for the way that was portrayed, and I am sincerely sorry about it. I am so sorry that I had people in my community who were concerned about me, and I'm so sorry for the way that that was all portrayed in a way that seemed extremely disrespectful of something as serious as domestic violence, which is something I would never want to do on this platform. I think it's probably no secret that I really pride myself on being authentic online, being honest. And so that's why I think it's important for me to make this follow-up video, because all of this, the way it's unfolded, is completely against the direction I want to take this platform online and what I love about it so much. Which is community, which is sharing in the trials and tribulations of life and dating. And I can see how all of this has unfolded in a way that is completely against who I want to be as a person and the type of platform I want to have online. And so again, I am sincerely sorry for the way all of that content was done in poor taste. And I just really hope that we can move forward in a way, again, that is positive and respectful. And I just really hope that this offers more clarification that my previous video did not have.
Which, along with the, just the continued lack of genuine apology here, the smirk on her face the whole time also did not help people feel much better about her apology. But after that one came out, then we got another apology explaining that, the previous apology wasn't meant to be posted or something. I don't know.
Hi, so I'm getting on here to clarify yet again another thing, because I think some people are going to think I'm lying about this, but I did just upload a follow-up to my initial apology video about the haunted house date, and when I posted it, I immediately saw a comment that said, why is there a weird clip in the middle? And I was like, what are they talking about? So I immediately took the video down, and then I just re-uploaded the video I intended to post, thinking that there must have been some glitch or something, I don't know. But then when I started seeing people's comments saying that, no, it wasn't the same clip, no, it wasn't the same clip, I was like, what are they talking about? And so then I went back, because when you upload a video to TikTok, it also saves to your phone automatically. So I went into my photos on my phone, and I saw that, yes, people are right. The original video I posted as my follow-up to my apology was a different clip. It was my first time trying to run through what I wanted to say, because I think that for something as important as this, it should take multiple drafts so you can try and make sure that you're portraying what you want to say in the best way possible. And so, yeah, so I accidentally uploaded my first walkthrough of trying to say what I wanted to say. And then the reason the video turns down is because I wasn't content with how I was ending it. And so then I took a minute to think about it, and then I put the camera back up and I filmed it through again, which is the video I finally ended up posting. All this is to say, right now I'm going to add to this video the original post so you guys can see the full thing. It's pretty much just the same video in slightly different words. So here it is. Hi everyone. I want to come on here and provide a follow-up or an extension of my previous video, because it has become very obvious to me that the core reason that many of you were upset was not properly addressed in that video. And so I do think that I owe you a more in-depth and heartfelt apology than what was portrayed in that video. I understand that my haunted house date content, with the way the makeup was done, the set was all done up, the way I framed it, the way the caption was written, I understand that all of that created this picture that I was a victim of physical violence on my date. And I take full accountability for the way that that was portrayed and the way that that misled well-intentioned people to be scared for my well-being and concerned for me. And I deeply am sorry for the way that that misled people. And that was not my intention at all, as I mentioned in the previous video, but I know that impact matters more than intent in situations like this, when you've hurt people, when you've triggered them, when you've upset them. And it's no secret, I've always really prided myself on having a platform that is positive, where people can relate to one another and grow and learn and have fun. And I recognize that this whole saga of what's happened is completely against everything that I want to stand for as a person and as a person online. And so, sorry, excuse me. And so, my community on here means so much to me. And so I really hope that... Hi everyone, I want to make another video as an extension or follow-up to my previous one in terms of the haunted house dating content that I posted, because I realize it's very obvious to me now that the core reason that people were so upset was not properly addressed in my previous video. And so I recognize completely and take full accountability for the way my content was framed and the way my makeup was done and the way the set was and the way I wrote my caption, how all of that created this picture that I was a victim of physical violence on my date. And understandably, many of you were then genuinely concerned and scared for my well-being. And then how all of that created this picture that I was exploiting something as serious as domestic violence for clickbait. And as I mentioned in the previous video, none of that was my intention whatsoever, but I understand that in situations like this, even people with the best intentions, that doesn't matter. And impact is more important than intent. And so I take full accountability for the way that was portrayed, and I am sincerely sorry about it. I am so sorry that I had people in my community who were concerned about me, and I'm so sorry for the way that that was all portrayed in a way that seemed extremely disrespectful of something as serious as domestic violence, which is something I would never want to do on this platform. I think it's probably no secret that I really pride myself on being authentic online, being honest. And so that's why I think it's important for me to make this follow-up video, because all of this, the way it's unfolded, is completely against the direction I want to take this platform online and what I love about it so much. Well, which is community, which is sharing in the trials and tribulations of life and dating. And I can see how all of this has unfolded in a way that is completely against who I want to be as a person and the type of platform I want to have online. And so again, I am sincerely sorry for the way all of that content was done in poor taste. And I just really hope that we can move forward in a way, again, that is positive and respectful. And I just really hope that this offers more clarification that my previous video did not have.
The way she handled this was really bad. It was really bad, and because this was basically all we got in terms of like apologies, taking accountability, whatever. And I still don't know if she fully understands or accepts like the gravity of what she did with this, given like the context of the kind of content that she's known for making, right? So there's that. And then after this happened, the election happened and in the US, and Molly comes back basically saying how she like doesn't feel right making dating and or like TikTok shop content, because she has been doing a lot of TikTok shop shilling on her account too, and she feels like it's trivial and everything.
All right, do you want an update on how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, what I'm doing? So I would first and foremost say that pretty much my entire waking hours right now, with the exception of when I know I need to drink water and consume food and take my dogs out, I've been obsessively consuming content related to this election and the state of our country right now. I've never felt as though my TikTok shop videos and my dating updates and my day in the life vlogs, I've never in my life felt like that type of content was more trivial than I do right now. And I've also never felt more of a desire to not post that kind of content and to instead focus on the reality of the country that I'm currently living in.
Which, like, I can totally understand that. Like, I think women's views of dating, specifically of those women who date men, I think they're going to be changing a lot now, and I'm speaking from personal experience, but I just think dating and sex as a whole are going to become much more political now here than they have been, like, than they already were, but I think it's just gonna be even more so. But then, given that, she goes on to say how she wants to start using her platform for education and like getting political, calling the new series, quote, Molly Gets Political.
And the fact of the matter is, my brain is spinning with ideas and plans to use my platform for educational purposes. I've decided that I'm for sure going to start doing a Molly Gets Political series on here, where I share resources, organizations I'm getting involved with, ways I'm advocating, things I'm doing to learn and educate and gain more knowledge myself. Some plans that I have currently in my mind. The moment I get paid next week, I'm going to buy many Plan Bs. Also, next week I'm planning to go to my local library. I'm going to check out books so that I can learn more about the real history behind the United States of America. I'm going to read more books about how our government works and is run. I want to learn a lot more about economics. I also want to consume literature that's written by marginalized groups. I'm specifically thinking in my head Black women. I'm also thinking about Black women in terms of consumer items that I promote on my TikTok. These are just things that are spinning around in my head that I know I'm personally going to do to take action, because the biggest thing in my mind that I'm trying to do is focus on what I can control. And I feel pretty empowered knowing that I can control new information and knowledge, and I know that no matter what happens in the state of this country, no matter what rights are taken away from me, no one can take away my knowledge. And so I'm really, really trying to focus on that, because that makes me feel powerful. My whole world has shifted. My perspective is completely different than it was a few days ago. The direction I want to take my platform is very different than it was a few days ago. As dark as this time is, I'm really looking forward to this new direction for me personally and professionally, and I really look forward to sharing that with you all.
A lot of people were actually like agreeing with her on how the landscape of dating and everything is going to change, and how they like understand why she feels that kind of content is trivial. But a lot of people, myself included, were clocking her on how she's saying that she's just now starting to take the time to educate herself on the real history of the US and how the government works, and how she wants to start listening more to the voices of marginalized communities, but also more specifically Black women. And a lot of people, mainly Black women, were in her comments saying how much of a privilege it is for her to just now start caring about these things and listening to them as a 32, 33-year-old person. And they also called her out for how performative this seems, which I don't disagree with. To make things worse, after posting this video, she starts like video replying to certain comments, and a lot of them are from Black women. Okay. The first one says, translation is that she decided to talk about it now because it's a popular thing to talk about now and thinks it will get her engagement. Performative AF.
I don't blame anyone at all for having this opinion of me. The fact that I'm a public influencer on TikTok, there's always going to be a certain extent that what I post is going to seem or actually be performative. That is always the case. And you don't have to believe me for me to know that my actions and my behaviors now are real. They're not just for attention online. I just think that I would be doing myself and the people of this country a disservice if I did not start to use my platform for good. I understand that I have not done that previously, and it's okay for you to have judgments towards me and negative opinions about me not having used my platform to talk about those things before. I think that's a very valid criticism, and I don't blame you for thinking that way of me. At the end of the day, though, like I said in previous videos, just because I didn't before advocate and use my platform to talk about politics or advocacy or to talk about marginalized communities and to educate people, doesn't mean that it's wrong for me to start doing it now.
The next one was her responding to another black woman's comment saying, let's do a thought experiment and say she does care. She only cares now that it directly impacts her. It's why I can't take non-intersectional feminism seriously.
Yeah, I think this is a valid criticism. I think that I have always had privilege as a white person. I think I've always had privilege as a cis woman. I know that I've had massive amounts of privilege in those ways where legislation in the United States did not negatively impact me. And now it is true, it is a fact that there's legislation in this country that could negatively impact me and will and already has negatively impacted many women in this country. Now, that being said, just because I've never posted about my political views online doesn't mean that I've never cared. I will say that what's currently happened is lit a fire under my ass to where I don't even feel like I have a choice anymore but to use my platform to talk about this. Again, I just want to reiterate that just because I haven't talked about these things on my platform doesn't mean I didn't care. It doesn't mean I didn't care. It just means that now I'm going to use my platform to talk about these things when I didn't do it previously.
And the next one she's responding to says, if your content is monetized, which I imagine it is, you will quite literally be profiting off of the trauma of marginalized communities. And she responds with this.
Okay, so I sincerely wonder, what is the answer to that? That's like saying someone like Drew Aflalo, who has this platform that supports marginalized community and women and empowers them, that's like saying every dollar that she's made off of her platform is wrong? Someone like Dean Withers, who has millions of followers, and every single day goes live to debate people with really bigoted and misogynistic and sexist and homophobic and racist beliefs. He debates them every single day, and it has this platform entirely based on educating and advocating for good. So that's saying every dollar that he makes is profiting off of marginalized people? Like, I just don't know, like, what's the answer to this? Like, I have a platform already, I have hundreds of thousands of followers, and I am going to use that platform for good. And yes, that will mean that I'll make money off the TikTok Creator Fund. That means that if I continue to post products that I want to promote or advertise, or if I get brand deals, that yes, I will make money off of that. I don't understand what the argument is here. I really don't.
And I put this one in here because she like specifically singles out Drew Aflalo, who is quite literally a marginalized Samoan woman. Like, just an interesting person to bring into this argument. And then she goes on to say this to another comment, just saying like correct to her last video.
So if we were to continue with that logic and that line of thinking, then that would mean that, for example, right now, with how women in many states in the US have lost their right to unrestricted abortions, then that would also mean that, since this doesn't affect men, that would mean that men should not at all be doing anything in their spheres of influence to advocate. That would also mean people in the LGBTQ plus community, people who are straight, that means they should not be advocating for those people. That would mean people who are not trans should not be advocating for trans people. I understand how it comes across. I understand that since I didn't previously use my platform to talk about these things, that it makes it seem disingenuous. It makes it seem like I'm just doing it now because it affects me, that I'm just doing it now to make money. And like I said before, I completely understand where you're coming from for that. It's okay if you don't believe me, but I know in my soul, in my heart, that I am doing this for genuine reasons, to genuinely do good. And maybe I'll prove that to you over time, or maybe I won't. But I do not think just because I am a white woman and I have had privilege in that way my entire life, I don't think that means I shouldn't advocate for marginalized communities now. And just because I've never talked about it before, I don't think that means I shouldn't talk about it now. I think the opposite. I think it means I should do it now more than ever.
But I made a TikTok on this whole situation that unexpectedly went really viral and was honestly kind of the inspiration for me making this video. But I was basically saying that she's having what I like to call personally a 2319 white woman crash out. She's failing to unlearn the racism and everything that we have had just like instilled in us by being white, that us as white women, we need to shut up and listen when marginalized women come in and talk to us about their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. And she's just not doing that. And she's having a 2319 white woman crash out and talking about how she continues to be correct. And I'm like, Molly, shut up and listen. As a girl who's had to do this myself and is still always doing this, but like has done this long before this election, shut up and listen. Okay. I wanted to put this in here because I just think now the shift from this dating content and having men so centered in her content now being like, oh, politics affects me, and I'm 30 some years old and just now starting to care about it, is insane to me. Like, as a 28-year-old who has only ever voted against Donald Trump, just now starting to care about it and just now starting to use her platform for it during what was probably one of the more crucial or the most crucial elections that we'll have in our lifetime is crazy. Anyways, hi, editing Megan here, just coming in real quick because I forgot to put this in the video when I was filming it. After all of this and like fighting with marginalized women in her comment section about how she doesn't understand what they're saying and how she's right, she then proceeded to post an ad for a TikTok shop Christmas tree. So, yep.
The world might not feel too bright right now, but I got a Christmas tree in the mail from TikTok shop. I think my soul needs it.
That's Molly Rutter. I've been yapping for an hour. I could talk about this forever. This is gonna be a long video because I have examples. I have visual aids. I thought about using the whiteboard and the pointer finger, but I couldn't find my pointer finger. Sad. It's around here somewhere. And also, we don't have pictures for all the guys that she's on dates with, so it would have gotten very confusing. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm sure I missed something. Let me know what you think about non-fat acceptance deep dives like this, because I had a whole lot of fun doing this. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you to Lumi for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to go shop the link down below in my description. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a dog emoji down below if you made it this far, and remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, drink your water, take your meds if you need them, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.